Have you been feeling pressure to go to BYU because that's where the righteous people go? And are you worried that if you don't go to BYU, you're not going to meet your eternal companion? Today we're joined by my own brother and our BYU expert, Cole Spackman, and he's going to give us the lowdown on everything you need to know about making the decision of whether you should go to BYU. Welcome to Spack Chats. I'm the Spack, and this is where we chat. All right, Cole. I was just telling you, I was not in love with your protein powder that you were telling me you just got, so I got you some better protein powder. But does it actually taste good compared to your other proteins?
Let's sample it. It's good. I mean, I could tell it's better quality.
Is that a bad thing?
No. I mean, if it was chocolate, it would be a better story here.
I'm sorry I didn't get you chocolate. The chocolate does taste better to me. I just happen to have a spare one of these vanilla bean packets hanging around.
Yeah, it's all right. It's good.
Okay. Before we jump into the discussion, guys, we're talking about BYU Provo. Some of this may apply to other church schools too, but mostly we're focusing on BYU Provo. Let us know if you go to the other church schools, if you agree, disagree. I think we might compare a little bit with the other church schools, but mostly we're focusing on BYU Provo. Okay. Cole, before you started attending BYU, what did you assume it was going to be like?
Oh, great question. I mean, Jessica knows this, but I am a former BYU hater. I self-proclaimed.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Back in high school, I basically applied for every school in Utah except for BYU. Part of it was that they had all these essays I had to do, and the others didn't. So that was a little hurdle.
You're like, also, how dare you make me do more work?
Yeah.
I don't want you that badly.
Essentially.
I'm not desperate.
But a big factor too for me is I was somewhat off-put of kind of the standards you're forced to uphold. I wanted to live church standards, but I had a hard time with the idea of maybe having those standards put upon me and some of the culture and things that I had vaguely seen and heard. I was a little thrown off by that was my initial perception. But as I went on my mission and as I interacted with people, met people who had been to BYU and were going to be going, and I guess I kind of had a little bit of a change of hearts. I don't even know what happened. At one point, I just as I was praying and thinking about my future, it just felt like the right thing to do, and I felt good about it ever since. And have become a fan of BYU, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you apply on your mission?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
It's probably 18 months on my mission was when I put in my application for the first time.
I don't know if a lot of people do that. So now you're BYU. Do you feel like you were right or were you wrong about, I guess about how uncomfortable the standards would be or how you would feel about being forced to abide by the honor code at BYU? Yeah.
And I think in a big way, my mission helped kind of reforge my perception on this.
Okay.
But that, even if you have the standard put on you by someone else, it still can be a good thing. And I think it has a lot to do with your intent. If you only ever, live standards that BYU enforces just because you have to, then of course you're not doing it for the right reasons with God. But I think I realized it's still good, and there's a lot of good there. And it creates a very unique environment that can be a blessing to a lot of people.
Do you feel like your decision to go was mostly because you just felt like that's what God wanted for you, or did you feel like you also decided there was something about the other schools that you didn't want to be part of? Do you feel like it was a comparison thing, or just, that's what I'm supposed to do?
There was a little bit of comparison. My previous decision, I wanted to go to SUU, Southern Utah, and part of me was not the hugest fan of some of SUU I'd seen. They're not bad, but they're just small.
Like what?
They're just, and it's far away, out in Cedar City.
And you're from Davis County.
Yeah, from Davis County. It's a lot further. But a large factor was just, that inspiration I really felt like it was the right thing to do for me. And it was just, I don't know, I felt it probably stronger than I felt probably any other prompting in my life of just how
Hmm.
many times and how long I just felt good about it and that it was the right thing to do for me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So let's go through some of the pros of BYU.
Mhm.
What is your favorite thing about being at BYU?
Mm. My favorite thing about being at BYU, um, I love the professors. I love the professors at BYU. I think it's so cool seeing examples of people who are successful in their fields. They're experts in their
Mhm.
fields, but they're also people of faith
Mhm.
that learn to not only live the gospel, but to be examples to others in the world and to share how to do that.
Mhm.
Examples of how to be.
Yeah. It's probably relevant to say what your major is
Mhm.
because I think I hear that the professors vary by the program. So can you tell us about your program?
Yeah. So far, I'm in the kind of the pre-business course race right now.
Mhm.
I'm working on applying to accounting specifically, but I'm a sophomore right now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, but the professors that you feel most connected to, are they mostly business teachers, business
Mm.
professors?
I do think I've loved the business professors a lot, but I've also met cool and powerful professors from other schools too. Um, I had for my University 101 class, that first class you have to take in BYU.
Which I'm so pumped about,
Um,
by the way. I love that they added that.
yeah, it's a great class.
Mhm.
It really is.
Mhm.
Um, there was a couple of professors from like the School of Family Life and some of the arts. I can't remember what both of them were,
Okay.
but they were also incredible.
Mhm.
And so I have seen even some in different areas that aren't my major that have still been
Yeah.
impressive in their
Yeah.
faith too.
And I do remember you were telling me that you have also enjoyed some of your religion
Mm,
professors as well. Is that
yeah.
all of them or just some of them?
Yeah. For the most part, I mean, of course, there's going to be variety,
Sure.
like there is anywhere.
Mhm.
And they have a lot of religion professors. So some I've liked a little bit more than others. But for the most part,
Mhm.
really, really good content and just really deep knowledge into the gospel and just a lot of things that help deepen your understanding
Mhm.
and knowledge of the
Yeah.
scriptures.
Cool. How has being surrounded by other church members abiding by the honor code, how has
Mhm.
that affected you in your spiritual life and your social life?
Yeah. Um, I think it's really interesting because when you get to a certain point at school, you're praying, you have religion classes throughout the day. So it
Wait,
almost
do you pray
starts
in every
to,
class?
you should, you're supposed to.
Oh, okay, cool. I don't
Yeah.
think I knew that.
Yeah, no, you are
I didn't
supposed
go
to
to
pray.
BYU, by the way,
Opening
for
prayer
the
every
audience.
time. I mean, every now and then someone forgets, but yeah, for the most part, every single class opens with
Okay.
a prayer, um, which is really cool to see. So you're getting several prayers a
Mhm.
day. If you got a religion class, you basically got an hour or two of spiritual content to uplift you. And then basically all your neighbors are your ward. Um, it's really cool to see how it all kind of merges together.
Mhm.
Um, and that I feel like I get a lot of spiritual upliftment throughout the week, and it's not just a Sunday thing, very naturally
Yeah.
in like social ways, more so than other places, I think.
Mhm. Cool. What opportunities have you seen from being at BYU?
What
For you,
opportunities?
yeah, the opportunities that have opened up for you
Yeah.
since you've been at BYU.
Um, I think there's various ways that goes there. I think the BYU is just it's a great school by lots of measures.
Mhm.
The program that I'm trying to get into is really, really good. It's one of the best in the nation for accounting.
Mhm.
So that's one great benefit that's as I decided to go for that program.
Assuming you get in.
Assuming I get in.
Yeah. It sounds like you will. I think
Hopefully,
it'll be great.
hopefully we'll see this
I think
fall.
you got it.
Um, but yeah, there's lots of very clear academic career benefits of going to BYU. Um, but in a big way, I think the connections you make and the spiritual supports too. I've seen
Mhm.
a lot of people build connections to strengthen themselves through professors and through other students that have faith as
Mhm.
kind of pillars in their lives that
Yeah.
they can also have their
Cool.
faith.
Do you feel like there are any benefits specifically from the honor code
Hmm. Yeah, I
for you or
definitely.
for like people generally who go?
Yeah, I think that it definitely is helpful to enter people kind of on an even playing field that you can show up to BYU, have a group of random roommates, and nobody's going to be crazy.
Mm.
Nobody's going to be doing things that are absolutely nuts. People aren't going to be out partying like crazy. Um, and me, I moved in with a friend I knew, but pretty much everybody else was strangers, and it was really cool seeing that Of course, there's variety in how faithful people are, of course, but
Mhm.
you can trust that you're not going to be in an unsafe or spiritually, yeah, spiritually unsafe situation either. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. Um, what kind of people do you think thrive at BYU?
Hmm. I think that's a broad question. I mean, all kinds of people. I feel like
It's not just a narrow one
yeah,
kind of
I
person.
don't think it's narrow at
Okay.
all. There's definitely a type of person that I feel like I do see a lot. I feel
Okay.
like I see the the big athletic guy who has loved BYU his whole life and he's in love with BYU football and he is a business major, and I feel like there's a lot of guys that kind of fit a certain stereotype. I
Mhm.
feel like I don't fit um kind of the standard,
Mhm.
but I feel like I've been able to find my own place where I fit in, and
Mhm.
my own path at BYU, even if I'm not like I feel like maybe the
Mhm.
standard is, which is cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I
Yeah.
like that answer. What has been harder than you expected about being at BYU?
Mm, what has been harder than I expected? It's a great question. Couple things that are harder than you expect. Sometimes religion classes. Sometimes they are way harder than you think.
Hmm.
Sometimes you have to write like crazy
They're
papers or
not just institute classes
yeah,
like
they're
a
not just
grade.
institute classes. You have to do serious homework, which is it's a cool experience too.
Mhm.
Putting the kind of effort you put into like a math class or a literature class into the New Testament or something
Mhm.
like that. It is a cool experience doing that. That's one thing that's definitely harder. But I think in a lot of ways, I think the social situation was a little harder than I thought. I didn't expect it to be easy necessarily, but I think it was a little bit difficult adjusting um, to just the social scene of my ward and college that I didn't know before.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes BYU has a bit of a stereotype that
Mm,
everyone is just putting on an act, that nobody's actually following the honor code,
mm,
that everyone's trying to look like they're perfect, but everyone's actually really not in their personal
mm.
lives. Do you feel like everyone is pretending around you?
I I wouldn't say that. I don't
Okay.
think pretending is the right way to describe a lot of it. I think there are definitely some people that will say some things, not live up to them, but you'll see that anywhere.
Mhm.
Anywhere you go. Um, and I think in a big way, it's amazing seeing the conviction of so many people and how passionate they are.
Mhm.
Um, what I'd say I see as even more of a problem is there are, and this is something that I don't relate to as much, but I feel like I
Mhm.
see a lot of people who are perfectionists at BYU. A lot of people who want to
Mhm.
be so good. They really believe in the gospel and they want to be like Christ. And some of those people beat themselves up a lot.
Mhm.
And I definitely see that around me. There are a lot of good people. Of course, we all fall short.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a kind of person that you think would struggle being at
Hmm.
BYU?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's hard to lay it out to like one kind of person. I think if you want to go, you should go. I don't think you should ever say, "Oh, my personality doesn't fit that. I shouldn't go," because I felt that way, but I
Mhm.
felt like it was the right thing to do, and I've loved being there.
Mhm.
Um, but at the same time, I do think keeping in mind a lot of it is you have to be in a lot of religion classes. You have to um, be have that part of your education, and
Mhm.
if you don't want to take scripture study seriously, then you might have to drudge through like several classes you have to
Mhm.
take. And if you really approach that with the intention to actually build your testimony and your knowledge, then it can be such a cool experience.
Mhm.
Where there might be some who drudge through and then just leave the church once they're out,
Yeah.
which is of course not what we want here.
Yeah. Do you think BYU is the best school
Mm, that's a good
that
question.
everyone should try to go to?
Yeah, I mean, I won't say it. I'm not that. I told you guys I'm a fan of BYU now. I'm not that big of a fan.
Uh-huh.
No, I love BYU, and I think that it can be the best school for some people.
Mhm.
I think right now for me, it's the best school for me to be at, but I think it very much is where you're at in life, what you want to study. And of course, BYU unfortunately just doesn't have enough room to accept everybody. And
Yeah.
so I think it's a great school, great education, but it's not meant for everybody,
Mhm.
and that's totally fine. It's not it's not a judgment of how good or faithful of a person you are to get in.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. And I feel like that can be sometimes in Utah, I think living out of Utah, I feel like that's even more the impression that
Mm.
Latter-day Saints should go to Utah, and partly because of this next question.
Mhm.
Is BYU the best place to find an eternal companion?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I don't think I'm the best person to say that. I am. I'm happily single right now. More or less happily.
Hopefully not too happily.
Yeah, not too happily.
Ladies,
We're working
he is
on
still
it.
single.
No, but I mean, I think the biggest thing that sets BYU apart from other parts of Utah where there may be quite a few members is there's such a big focus on marriage that it can be hard.
Mhm.
Can be hard. I've seen people, I mean, I'm just a sophomore, but I've seen lots of friends and roommates that are older than me. And sometimes it's hard being kind of reminded of marriage all the time. And there are some
Mhm.
people that really are trying. And I
Yeah.
can know it is a unique situation that can be hard for some people
Mhm.
because it can be great for people getting married, but it doesn't work for everybody at the same speed. And yeah, I wouldn't say there's something like wrong with the way BYU does it, but it makes a different situation than you
Yeah.
see other places.
Do you think there would be hope for somebody who went to another school, not BYU? Do you think they could ever get married? Is it possible?
Like
Or like if
at
they,
another school? Is that what you
yeah,
mean?
like I feel like there's a kind of an idea, at least correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I've heard out of state that like if you're
Uh-huh.
serious about getting married, if you really want to do it, you need to try to go to BYU because in other places, maybe you're not taking it seriously, or maybe it's
Yeah.
you're not going to have very good success in getting married if you don't go to BYU. Do you feel like that's true?
No, I would not say that. I would not
Okay.
say that. I think the perk, I mean, if you're out of state and you don't have many members near you, the really big perk is you move in and you have a huge selection of people who have similar beliefs to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a huge benefit for a lot of people, but it's not something exclusive to Provo.
Yeah.
You can find that anywhere in Utah. If
Mhm.
you're from out of state and you want to meet more members, if you go anywhere in Utah, you could find lots of members. So there are some perks, but it's not
Mhm.
it's not a hack that'll get you a wife instantly.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of have a hot take that sometimes when the pool is too big, it's hard to know when you've got a good catch.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
That's a
I
good
don't
point.
know. That's my hot take. I've never been to BYU, so maybe I'm dead wrong.
You could be right.
I
I'm not
I
the
don't know.
marriage expert here.
So is BYU better than other church schools?
Mm,
BYU Idaho,
Yeah.
BYU Hawaii, maybe Ensign or Pathways,
Mhm.
etc.
yeah, and I mean, when you ask it what frame you're looking at again, like I think that if you're talking about purely like, excuse me, just scholarly reputation, of course, BYU Provo is higher ranked in programs and has
Mhm.
better programs in that way. But in a lot of ways, financially, situations for where you live, BYU Idaho, BYU Hawaii, Ensign College can be better choices for some people. I really
Mhm.
believe.
Yeah.
Some people will have to spend a ton of money to go to BYU Provo, but they could go to Ensign for free,
Mhm.
and that might be the best church school experience for them, in my personal opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you could kill a myth about BYU.
Oh, a myth. Okay.
Were you nervous about that question? If you could kill any myth about BYU, what would it be?
Kill a myth.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, I think some of the myths that can be the most annoying are just some of that generally like there's a big perception out there that everybody at BYU does all these things where they like basically break the commandments but don't because there's I don't know, there's a
Mhm.
bit of a perception out there on the internet and about members of the church, but especially BYU,
Mhm.
that people really only follow the honor code and don't follow their beliefs. And I would say,
Mhm.
of course, there are cases of people doing stuff all over the place, but in my experience, everybody I've met, at BYU, for the most part, have all expressed their genuine thoughts and genuinely do believe and try to act by their beliefs. I think it's sometimes exaggerated
Yeah.
cases of maybe people not acting as well. I don't
Yeah,
know.
sure. That makes sense. How do you think someone would be able to tell if they are choosing BYU for the wrong reasons?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, of course, it's always a personal experience making a big life decision. It's between you and God, and I think right and wrong reasons. I have my own opinions about what I should do in life and what I think, but at the end of the day, I think if you pray and involve God in that equation, then I think you'll be able to figure out if they are good or bad reasons. For me, I have my reasons that I think are right, but I think if people have God in the equation, then some other reasons might be right for them too.
Yeah. If there's someone out there trying to decide if he or she should go to BYU, what are some of those questions that she should be praying about?
So questions they should pray about.
Yeah, in making the decision.
Yeah. Praying about, of course, different factors of your future, what you want to study, where you want to go. I think something to always keep in mind is that the church has lots of options. There's BYU Idaho. We've talked about that a little bit. Different options that have different benefits. And I've heard great things about lots of the church schools. So I think looking at these different factors, and I think sometimes someone goes, oh, I want to go to BYU. I want to have the church experience, but it's not as simple as that. You can have that in multiple locations, having a lot of the same benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. If you could advise incoming students to BYU to do one thing, either in preparation or once they're there, to make the most out of their experience, what would it be?
Yeah. For incoming students, I mean, some of the biggest things I'd say, and it's sometimes like a daily battle, but to really get to know the people around you. And I think this isn't just a problem at BYU, it's a problem at colleges everywhere. But there's a lot of loneliness, just with so much online, so much social media, so much we can do that we just isolate ourselves. But to really try to connect with the people in your classes, of course, that's not exclusive to BYU, but it's a big thing. And then besides that, I'd also say to the Univ 101 class, that required BYU intro class, to take it seriously and to enjoy it, do those readings and assignments and really try to catch the vision. Because I think it definitely did that for me as I really tried to understand what was going on.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. I ask all of my guests this question: what is one gift you wish young women would give their future selves?
I will preface this by saying I don't think I'm the most qualified to say this about
But you
for
have a
young
valid
women's lives.
perspective. I want to hear it.
But okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But from my perspective, and as I consider for young women and for anybody, I think the best gift you can really give yourself is to prayerfully consider and involve God in your future and your planning. I feel like often in my life, I haven't always felt very direct revelation or connection at some times with God, with what to do or specific answers to questions. But I felt some of the most significant experiences with God in serious decisions I made in my life. And I'm so glad that I didn't just make those decisions on my own and that I really involved God in that. I think that's something really important for all young people.
Yeah, I totally agree. I wish I'd learned that younger too. Okay, before we end, I have an advice question. This is from Latter-day Saint Reddit, Accomplished Adagio. That's their username. I think it's a guy, yes. He says, should one who has been accepted by BYU but hasn't yet attended or set a date for attendance still attend if they are questioning their faith? I'm an honest man and I know that BYU is for faithful saints. At least the cheap tuition is. I'm not interested in living some kind of lie to get a cheap education. So I'm asking you fine folks for advice and to hear of any personal experience you've had in that department. I don't know exactly how it works in BYU if you attend, but at some point become inactive or disassociated with the church. Thanks.
Yeah, I love that question.
How would you answer that question?
That's a really good question. I hope whoever that is, I hope he gets some good answers from people. I think this is my opinion, and I in my mind, I would think that most BYU professors and a lot of students would agree with this. I think you should definitely go to BYU if that's your situation. If you're questioning your faith, there is no better place to be to find answers to your questions. You are just surrounded by semester after semester professors who want to help you find answers to your questions and students that have studied. And even if you decide to leave the church, you'll know that you gave it a go. You studied and you did your best. And I don't think there's anything to feel guilty about if you're questioning your testimony. Even the fact that you acknowledge that there's so many people at BYU who will leave the church in a few years, unfortunately. And if you really address these things and try to understand, I think that BYU is a great place to be. And that would be my 2 cents on it.
That's a cool answer. That's really positive. I think I would agree with that. I think that's great. Well, thank you, Cole. I'm so glad that you came and shared your very wise, insightful thoughts with all the young women out there. And I'm excited to hear what you guys do if you're going to BYU. Let me know. Okay, thanks, Cole.
Go Cougs.
Yeah. Okay, my friends, I'm so excited you got to meet my little brother. Let me know if you want me to set you up with him. He is so kind and such a great guy. But for reals, I'm really happy that you're in this stage of life, trying to decide where to go to college. This is going to be really important for the trajectory of your life. And I do believe that God cares about this decision for you. There may be more than one right answer, and maybe BYU is the school for you. Maybe it's not. Like I said, I didn't go to BYU. So there's totally more than one option, and maybe even college isn't in your plans, but there's always opportunity for you to learn more, to grow in your education, to better yourself, to continue to grow your career, and to meet new people. There are so many paths for you, and I know that the Lord will answer your prayers. My friends, I'm so glad that you came to chat today, and now it's time to go and do. I know that you have got this because God has got you. This has been Spackchats, your practical guide to survive and thrive through the latter days. Here we find answers to your real-life questions by applying the gospel of Jesus Christ to build an amazing life with no regrets. If you've enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a future episode. And if you want to support the show, one of the easiest free ways to do that is to leave a 5-star review and share why you love the show. I'm Jessica Spackman. Until next time on Spackchats. Coming up on the next episode. What are your reasons to stay? Do you have a relationship with Jesus Christ? Do you believe that this is his church and you're supposed to be there? Is this something that you have had positive experiences with and you have hope for more positive experiences to come? Remember those reasons to stay, and eventually I think that they can pull you through.